Hey guys, welcome back. It's another Soil Cycling. I'm your host here, Matt Golson, and with me is we have a crew of four, and we got a new guy. So let's go around the. This is totally different. This is the first episode we haven't done at the Bike Surgeon. We are now in our pain caves, or wherever. The pain cave. I love the pain cave. That's just I'm the only one of the podcasters today that doesn't have a camera, and I'm surrounded by cameras, but none of them. I thought we weren't going to do cameras. I thought this was an audio medium. Okay, anyway, let's get going. We got Jeff. Tell us what's going on. Let's go around and intro.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff Mox. I'm kind of the newbie cyclist in the group. What do I say about myself? Mostly road riding, gravel. Talk about it later. I tried cross, didn't do too well.
I'll go. My name's Gabriel Arononi. Work at the Bike Surgeon. I think I've been on all of these, so if you listen to all of them, you should somewhat know my background.
Rob?
I'm Rob Landis. I love road riding. I just now got back into training for some racing, so that's really exciting. And I remember riding with Matt 20 years ago, and when he was a stud, and it was hard to stay on his wheel.
That's a lie.
No, I don't remember.
Must have been when he took that picture we're looking at right now for his
yeah.
for his iPad there.
Yeah, that was me.
So I'm Hank Diders. I ride a lot of different bikes, and I'm newest to mountain biking out of the group.
Sweet. Okay. Well, guys, we're going to kick things right off with a Catalyst 2 report. That's the race report. So if you're new to us, we're covering Southern Illinois cycling, and we're taking a look at what makes the area here great and why we're into cycling and what we want to do to promote it, make it better. And we had a race recently at the Catalyst that is Touch of Nature. And this was the second in a 2-race series. I really want to see this expand next year, and Gabe's going to make that happen. I'm just kidding, Gabe. We can all try to make that happen. But I got some big ideas, and that's about all they are is ideas. But Catalyst 2 report. So I'm just going to say that I got very little to say except for I'm not a great mountain biker at any given time. And when it gets wet and slick, I'm even worse. But Hank, you want to tell us about your results there?
Yeah, so I was in the sport class, which is 2 loops. So there's beginner class, which is 1 loop, about 8. Gabe, what was it, 8.5 miles or something like that?
Yeah, I think that it comes out to 8.25 to be exact.
8.25.
Yeah.
And I did the sport class, which is 2 loops around that. And then there's the expert class, which is 3. And for me, I was actually trained up somewhere between the beginner and the sport as part of my endurance and my preparation. And had a new bike that week, got to ride the trails one time on a nice dry evening. And then we get out the race morning and it starts wet and it just gets wetter during the race. So I was pretty uncomfortable to start off with both my fitness and with being prepared to ride on a wet, slick course. But I survived it. I stayed upright. I just backed off a little bit when I started to feel a little sketchy and a little slippery. And my whole motivation, the thing that kept me upright and kept me pedaling, was not getting caught by Matt Golson, who I passed. Where were we? On the Catalyst loop, I think on the first lap around is where I got you.
At the creek crossing.
Yes, where you kindly let me pass you. You insisted.
Yeah. I'm a gentleman.
And yes, and that was the last time I saw you, except for the finish line. I'm not trying to be rude when I say that, but we didn't cross paths after that.
Nope.
Had a fun race. It was hard. I was really pushing it. That was way longer than I was ready for. But I had a great time. It was a lot of fun.
Now, Gabe, what was it like at the actual front of the race where you were living? Not much far. You weren't that much farther ahead than Hank, but yeah, the young, fast guys, young talent at the front of the race. Tell us about that.
I was really only on the front for maybe the first maybe 4 miles, maybe. So I guess there's Adam, Scrow, Nick Reel, Barry Parks, myself, and Kate Carrier, kind of in the first little group. And then Kate and I kind of fell back, and then she eventually dropped me on Catalyst
Wow.
And then I was kind of by myself for kind of the rest of it till a couple of the Kentucky boys caught me. I was kind of having a rough go of it. I was kind of caught in between, like, I don't know. I was in a weird headspace for that race. I didn't know if I was going to like really go out and race it or if I was just wanting to kind of cruise. And the whole time I was just caught kind of in between the two. So I didn't really start riding really hard again to once I got dropped by Kate till the Kentucky guys caught me. And then it was too little too late. They got me in the sprint. So
and I remember we were talking in the parking lot and you were like, how serious do I want to take this? And okay, and so
but it was fun, like for sure. We rode really fast at the beginning. I remember everyone was like, "Man, we went out hard." And I don't know, Nick started. He was in front of me. And he started backing off a little bit, like almost once we got to the road section after Lakeview. And I was like, "Nick, start pushing a little bit so we can get onto the group on the road. Because if we pop off now, like it's going to be really rough." And I don't know. He said that he was thankful I pushed him that little bit because he wasn't sure.
And Nick went on. And Nick went on to win, and he went on to win, and beating Barry, not by a ton, but you know, it wasn't close. I mean, he was almost a minute ahead of him on the chip time here. And Nick, I've known Nick for longer than all of you guys, but I not really known him that well, but he just kind of randomly showed up with me once at the Beautiful Southern Ride. I think like he was in high school. I think he was like 15. And his friend and him, his friend who had been riding with us a little bit at the time, and I forgot that guy's Gage. His friend was Gage. He was like the kid from El Dorado that was rocking a single speed fixed gear bike everywhere he went.
That's cool.
Yeah, he showed up. Me and him, and I was gonna give him a ride to the Beautiful Southern Ride, like in I don't know 2008 or something, 2009, and my car broke on the like before we even got out of Harrisburg, and I had to limp back, and they drove me in their crappy old Jeep or something. So it was a. But anyway, Nick's man, he has just become a powerhouse. I went from a kid to a man that can drill it. So now, Jeff, how about Cannonball? You did Cannonball the next day. None of us did. I don't think none of us did Cannonball, right?
No,
No.
just me out of the group.
Tell us a little bit about Cannonball, because we were going to go do that, but after a mountain bike race, I don't think I didn't want to. I couldn't have.
Yeah, Cannonball was fun. Other than it was just cold at the start, cold and just bone chilling, because of the humidity. It rained on me all the way over to Chester, but once I got there, it stopped raining. There were maybe about, 30 of us that rode it. So I think the rain kind of headed off a lot of people that just didn't want to get out for that. I think only 3 people showed up that had signed up for the 71-mile route. So they actually canceled it and had everybody do the 41. And my goal was I was going to push and see how hard I could compete until I saw Ian Bolton take off like out of a cannon, man. He and a couple other guys just shot out, and I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to finish. There's no way I'm going to be able to chase those guys. And I think Ian came in third or fourth overall.
Yeah, have you ridden with him much?
What's that?
Have you ridden with Ian much? I've only ridden with him a few times. He's came over to some road rides and stuff like that.
A little bit. The weekend before, we did the North Loop of the DSR, and he was there for that, and he was really strong on that ride too. He was pulling out quite a bit. There were a fair number of us from St. Nick's there. So Gene, Katie, Steve Allison, Judy, and Marty were there, and myself. So we had a pretty good showing for St. Nick's. I enjoyed the ride. There's a bit of elevation. My goal was to break 3 hours, and I got it in, I think, 3 hours and 6 minutes. Nice. So I just didn't quite do it, but it was still a good 25-minute shaving off the last year. So I was still pretty proud of it. It's a lot of fun.
Hey, Jeff, is that question, is that a Fondo format? Is that a race format, first, second, third place, that kind of thing? It's
just first, second, third place, yeah.
Okay. But they do have awards or trophies or recognition?
Yep. They had actually a really cool, the award was this big cannonball. that was welded to a plaque.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That must go.
it was actually
Next year.
pretty sick.
Yeah, I saw that. It looked sick.
Yeah.
Okay, I want that.
Yeah, I have never done one of the cannonball rides, and it's usually Chester's kind of a long way to go, and I'm just lazy. But I'm glad you went to represent.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Let's see, I'm looking on Enroll's ICU. It looks like it was about a little over 4,000 feet of elevation gain over 40 miles. So there's some pretty good hills.
That's the other reason why I haven't actually gone to that race. It's a little more elevation. All right, so hey, let's bring it up to the next topic here. We got Dirty South Registration Day. That's coming up. Is that like this weekend maybe, or is it? When can we register for Dirty South?
26th?
Yeah,
26th, I think, is the date.
I think it's the weekend of Thanksgiving.
Weekend of Thanksgiving. Okay, so what's the registration max this year? You know, is it over 500?
It's over 500. I don't know if I'm supposed to say exactly how many.
Okay.
Blink twice if it's over 600. You don't have to say it.
I'm just kidding.
No, just be honest.
I would say it's more than last year, but people shouldn't hesitate to get in, because I know I waited till December this last year, and I think I took one of the last spots.
Yeah. A lot of people didn't make it last year that wanted to do it.
I've got it in my calendar for 8 a.m. on Sunday the 26th. So
Awesome.
I think that's when the Facebook post said it's gonna come out.
You know what's incredible
I'll be
about
registered.
that? Think about this. Back when we did the Geo, it took us 5 years to get to 250 riders. And we were happy about that. That was that Omnium we did back about 10 years ago.
Right.
Now here you get a gravel race pulling, 500 plus, let's say. And it's incredible, the ridership and we're getting in these things.
Yeah.
Is that how did you guys used to do that race? Was it like mass start, mass participation, or
the Geo? No, it was an Omnium. So
yeah,
there was categories, and we had a time trial and a road race on Saturday and a crit on Sunday.
USAC sanctioned.
That's correct. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So no, it wasn't mass start, Gabe. I mean, there was lots of different categories.
Kind of intimidating, kind of a lot. It's not as user friendly as a gravel race where you can show up and chill, or criterium, or road race. And the road race, that was my first actual race, was the Geo road race, and it was pretty intimidating. I didn't have my number pinned on right. Got yelled at. Didn't get yelled at, but had to get my number pinned on right, and it was pretty intense, compared to the laid back sort of style of a gravel race,
You know what? The road racing is kind of like that.
Yeah.
When you do crits and road racing, people are a lot more snotty about their equipment and sometimes a little more aggressive in their tactics and not as friendly. And I like that.
Sure.
I think I'm going to like that part about gravel racing.
Oh yeah. The vibe is a lot different. I mean, even at the front where it's racing, I think it's still a lot more relaxed. I mean, I'm not much more probably, but a little more. Not that I've ever been in the front.
Rob, is Dirty South going to be your first gravel race, or do you have one planned before that?
No, that's it. That's the first one. Baptism by fire, baby.
Does anyone know? So 2 years ago, the bike shop out of Cape Girardeau did a series of gravel races in January and February, leading up to the Dirty South. Now they didn't do that last year. Does anyone know if they're going to do that?
Pressures.
Yeah, that's it. Do you know if they have plans to do that this year? Anyone know?
I haven't talked to Aaron about that. I know I mentioned it to him last year, saying that a lot of us enjoyed it, but sorry, I have a dog squeaking a toy right next to me.
Squeak, squeak.
Bring me that thing.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Dang, that's a big toy.
Yeah, those were great. The first time I did the Dirty South, that series of races, I went and did one of them as a kind of train up in an equipment check, and to check my tolerance for suffering, because the one at Apple Creek, that thing was hilly.
I think that's the one I did. And I fooled them into thinking that I won the race.
That's right, because you just did a fun lap or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like you pulled off, right?
Yeah, we did the fun lap, and Sean Moore and I like we were like, I think we were like the first people to finish the fun lap or whatever. And we're like, let's go in like sprinting and see what happens. And yeah, him and I come charging through there and, you know, come through and everyone thinks that we won the race. And then I had to like tell them like, no, we didn't win the race. And then Josh Baumel actually did win the race. And when he came through, it was like the boy who cried wolf. They were like, use all the energy on Sean and I. And they're like, oh, good job.
You got the big welcome. Man. The winner got
that was a fun race. I didn't do the other ones in that series, but that one we did at Apple Creek was a lot of fun. It was really, really a fun atmosphere, and it was well organized. And that was a challenging course. I did the 2-loop. Yeah. The fun loop was just a 1Z, and I did the 2-loop, and that was my first ever gravel race on a brand new bike. First time on gravel tires like that, and it was hard. Yeah, I'm glad I did that, because it was a good prep for the Dirty South. But, you know, this group down here does a lot of gravel rides through the winter, and maybe we'll talk about that later, and getting ready for the Dirty South. So Rob will have some people to ride with.
Rob's going to have plenty of people to ride with. I guarantee it.
Yes.
There'll be a crowd. You can't not ride with people at the Dirty South. It's like you can try to avoid them, but they're there.
But in the weeks leading up to it, Rob, I'm sure we'll have plenty of rides for plenty of miles to put in with Rob leading up to it.
I was about to say, is that something you want to release, Rob? Do you want to say your plan for Saturdays or your tentatively plans?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that. If people are interested, I'd like to do some 3 and 4 hour rides on Saturdays, leaving from my house, or we can meet, in the square in Marion, whatever works out well for people. And it would be, obviously some pavement because I really don't like to drive or ride. I know that's kind of weird, but so it's probably about an hour south of us before I really get into good gravel in the Shawnee. So I'm willing to, do those just about every week. I think I'm supposed to be doing mostly zone 2, so that's going to be really challenging out there because you know how hilly it is out in the Shawnee. Yeah. I think if people are interested, I'm sure we can figure out how that's going to look. I'm gonna go for 4 hours on Saturday, so if somebody wants to go and start exploring that area with me, that'd be great.
Yeah, I know a lot of those roads south of you. If you take Moke School Road south and head down towards Creel, I know all those gravel roads down there pretty well. There's one series that we went across one time on the east side of New Burnside. I went one time with Adam and Jeff. And maybe Jeff can sometime take us on a tour of those roads. Matt, do you remember that ride we did? We had we had AWOL with us.
Yeah.
And I thought Adam Scrow was with us that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he took us on a. So I don't know that.
Did I take us on the ride? Was it me?
Yeah. Yes, it was you for sure.
And I had no memory of this at all.
Yeah,
must have been a really good ride.
It was, and your wife was there at the parking lot when we came back, and so Sean was with you that time. Okay. But it was 4 or 5 of us that went out. We went over we took the Tunnel Hill Trail to New Burnside, and then we headed straight east, I think.
Yeah.
Went up the hill and then out that way. So you got some really good roads that way. So I don't know that direction well, but I know get over the Dutchman Lake, Recreation Road, Parker City Road. Like I know all those roads pretty well, which are gravel. So probably from your house, Rob, that might be 30 minutes south before we get to some decent gravel.
Did we hit Trig Tower that day? Did we go over the Trig? Maybe not.
It was. Yeah, we did. And there was ice and snow on the ground in sections. If you remember where it was shady, there was ice on the ground.
Yeah.
And you guys took off, and I was scared to death.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think I remember that. Cool. Well, Rob, that sounds pretty exciting. So what time? What's the takeoff time you're planning?
Well, I'd like to leave at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
In the morning. I know this Saturday, I think it's supposed to be about 35 to start, so it's probably. I know Hank doesn't mind that weather, nor does Gabriel. Now, Jeff, you're probably going to be inside, right?
Yeah, I'm still letting my knee rust up.
Yep, I don't blame you.
I would join you this Saturday, except it's deer hunting weekend, so I will be in a stand, chilling in the weather just the same.
Yeah.
That beard is going to come in useful in that stand, Hank. And it only adds about 1 watt of drag, maybe even less. Sometimes I saw one the other day. It said that a beard was actually more arrow.
Yeah, it fills in that gap.
That's right. Fills that gap. That's right.
On this, so you need
There's
to
no negative pressure behind it.
Yeah, it might make you even more and more arrow. Who knows?
So,
A double chin does the same thing.
So we got in our show notes here, Jeff. You tried cyclocross racing out. You want to tell us about your experience and how fun that was and how good of a time it was, considering you just mentioned recovering your knee this weekend. So tell us about that.
It actually was a lot of fun. So yeah, I succumbed to Justin's peer pressure, and decided to give cyclocross a try. And of course, then he was sick that weekend, so he didn't show up. So I go up early.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I thought I'd go early, recon the course, because I'd never done cyclocross, had no idea what it was other than YouTube videos. And got out there and did one loop of the course. It was in a park in Baldwin over in St. Louis. And I was probably maybe the third, fourth person to ride it. So no lines have been established on the hills and the curves and stuff. So I was just winging it. And the first time I went through, I actually made it, but I could tell this is not for me. Yeah, it was a little hillier than I was expecting. It was all grass other than when I was crossing sidewalks. But there was one particular curve that you climbed up a hill, and then it took a 90-degree turn and went straight down the hill into a very long S-curve. And the first time I did it, I don't know how, but I stayed upright and I made it through it just fine. But I could tell that was going to be the curve of the course to master. So I went back to do it again. And the second time I went down, I must have taken a slightly different line and the bike just slid out from under me because there was so much dew on the grass. Because again, I was like the third or fourth person riding it. So no lines have been established. That hadn't been knocked off. And it was just really slick. And it was just a weird slow motion fall. And when I got up, my left knee was really hurting. And I just said, you know what? I don't want to risk it. I'm just going to watch. Now, my hubris got the best of me. What I probably should have done is just walked that part of the course, because I saw when I was watching the racers go through, that's what probably a third of them did anyway, was just walked it. But that was indeed the showcase corner. One of the guys I was talking to about it I said, hey, this is my first time doing cyclocross. I don't know what I'm doing. And he's like, dude, you picked the wrong first course, because this is the toughest one of the whole series.
Yeah, so I think running and it's a big part of cyclocross, getting off your bike, and that's pretty common. I watched your video. I think you had a video clip on Strava of that section, somebody riding it, and I was like, yee. I got to ask you, do you know what air pressure you had in your tires?
No, because I had just gone to the bike surgeon and got some 43s, because I thought I wanted to go with something a little bigger.
Yeah.
To dry run for the Dury South. And Gabe, I was just using whatever pressure you put in there. I didn't think to let some out. It felt pretty firm, so it's probably in the 40s, maybe.
40s, yeah. Probably.
Yeah, I think for cyclocross, like I know I read a guide once on how to set your tires up for cyclocross, and it was like take all the air out of them and then just put a little back in, basically. And it was like if you hit the rim, you're probably okay. If you hit the rim too hard, you're probably not. But I guess like crazy low pressure, because if you watch cyclocross, I'm like, how do those guys stand upright and all this stuff? And they run like 20, 25 pounds of pressure, I think. And I guess cyclocross is technically limited to, is it 33 or something like that? 33 tires.
Yeah, 33C.
But I would have been there on my big tires if I'd done it. I would have been on a mountain bike, I think, if you could, if you're allowed to.
See if I can get my angle right. There was one guy that looked like Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
that made it look like it was stupid simple. And when he went through it, he was way extended.
If you're listening to us on your commute or whatnot, and it's a visual, it's not a visual medium. Jeff just performed some kind of Jane Fonda maneuver. It was really exciting, and so he's put his butt way back.
Yeah, the guy had his butt way back.
Yeah.
And he said you just got to get extended. Now, clearly he was lowering his center of
Oh,
gravity.
you got to get that center of gravity down. Yeah, that's key, right?
That sounds like some old school '90s mountain bike technique.
You get your
Going
butt
on.
hanging off the back of the saddle, and
Yeah.
you like rub the tire. Yeah, that's right.
And again, you could definitely tell there are people that get it, that went through that section without any problems whatsoever. And then there was one guy that locked up his front wheel and went tumbling head over heels. There were several people that didn't even make the S curves, that just went straight through them and took the lines down and the stakes. It was crazy.
I got to ask you another question. How many people were there? Because like I've been thinking about this all winter, but every Saturday or Sunday, I just talk myself out of it, and I'm always like, I think I asked Justin. He was like, yeah, there's like 20 people there.
Oh no, there's probably about 50.
Okay,
they had a lot of categories. So what I had signed up for was the Virgin / junior class. And my friend Don was with me. I actually brought my GoPro, was going to record it. And there were like 2 guys my age there, and everybody else was like 7-year-olds and 12-year-olds.
All right, yeah, that's my kind of crowd right there. I could probably beat some 7-year-olds in a race. That's
11's racing.
They had 40+ masters, 50+ masters, Cat A, B, C, couple women's classes. So yeah, they had a lot of different groups that you could go through. But yeah, there were probably about 50 or 60 people there. It was very, quite well put on, pretty good crowd. And I'm just thinking from a perspective of viewing a cycling race, it was amazing because it was such a tight course. And I was watching this crazy curve, and then we got tired of that, and it's like, well, let's go over to the volleyball courts and look at where they go through the sand, and let's go over here and where they got the little bunny hop where you got to jump over the boards and stuff. So it's very easy just to walk around and look at different parts of the course.
Yeah. And if you watch, I kind of get into watching it on TV. I get pirate streams and whatnot and GCN. By the way, guys, did you see GCN Plus is going to go away? That's so sad.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Man, like I bought GCN Plus about 6 months ago, and I've been watching cyclocross races on it, and they are like one of my favorite things to watch. They're short, they're intense, lots of craziness, and you'll watch the fans like running from one section of a course to another part of the course, and see those courses in Belgium where fans are like 6 or 7 deep in sections, and it's like, wow, that must be living the life over there where cycling is actually popular. It's pretty cool. Are you going to go back? Do you ever want to do it again?
I need to work on skills.
Yeah.
But yes. And I will definitely go back and watch. It was a hoot. And people were so accepting and so friendly. Like on that really bad curve up on the hill, when the girls were going through, there were a whole bunch of women up there yelling, telling the girls how to do it, what lines to take, just incredibly encouraging. So yeah, it was a very welcoming group. A lot of people out there with cowbells and little bull horns and shouting at each other. And
the hand ups. All kinds of good stuff.
I have a real quick one for Jeff. Did you go on to the Touch Nature course at all? I saw you afterwards handing out cookies. Did you actually go?
Oh yeah, he was there handing out cookies. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't. Again, I didn't want to ride it because I was going to try to really race the Cannonball Fall the next day. And it's another one where I'm not comfortable with my skills yet.
I mean, I was just mean, did you go out and like go down on rocky ledges or whatever and watch any people coming through on trail?
No, not really. No, I stayed there right there at the finish line.
Okay.
There's some good spots there that, I would love to hang out there one day with my camera and just get some cool video of people flying through there. Rocky Ledges that's legit. That's real mountain biking. For those of you who think that real mountain biking doesn't exist in certain places in the Shawnee, like Touch of Nature, it's real mountain biking. I mean that Rocky Ledges, especially if it's wet, that was pretty. There was some pretty hairy parts through there, I thought.
Mm-hmm. I think a few people even got like flats and stuff. So
oh yeah,
you had to watch it on.
So speaking of real mountain biking. I'll make this short. I don't, I never want to really dwell on negative stuff, but I just want to tell a little brief story here. So I got out recently with legend of the Shawnee, Drew Blair, mountain biker from over here on the east side, and we went to where was Frank's Track. So this is kind of like Lusk Creek. Now this is not natural area. This is not wilderness. I have been riding here for a long time, since I was shown this place by another legend of the Shawnee, Greg Elam, and we started riding there, I don't know, probably 15 years ago. Back in the probably around 2010 is probably when I started riding there, because there was a RIT RTI Recreational Trails Initiative. A lot of government money went into fixing up these trails. They were pretty much horrible, and they bench cut them. They repaired a bunch of sections. They made it a lot better, and it became some pretty awesome mountain biking. But this area does have a lot of the locals from Eddyville, and then a lot of folks who horseback ride. You can run into horseback riders here. So me and Drew were we were mountain biking. We'd actually stopped, and we were using his very, very excellent silky saw, which was incredible. If you've never tried one of these saws, it was incredible the way it just slashed through a log. He had to show me the silky saw, and we cut through a log that was blocking the trail, helping out everybody, hikers, horseback riders, mountain bikers, anybody using the trail. And while we were doing this, we saw some horseback riders coming down the trail at us, and they just I could tell they were ticked, they were mad that we were there. They didn't say much. They didn't say anything, but they nearly just rode over us on their horses. He barreled at us and then cut around us at the last minute. And I was like, yeah, I don't think they want us to be here, Drew. Well, Drew likes to talk to the horseback riders. Drew is like an ambassador for cycling in the Shawnee. He loves to just talk. He likes to he wants everybody to feel very welcome. He likes to, find out where they're from and, what they think of the Shawnee and all this stuff. So we run into these folks at the next trail crossing, creek crossing, and he starts talking to them. And after about the third or fourth question of Drew, and then they didn't respond, and I was already hightailed it out of there, because I was like, yeah, these folks don't want to talk to us. The guy turned around and basically he said some rather rude words to us, yelled at us quite a bit, and he actually even got on his horse and was trying to sort of block Drew in, and it was very, I thought we might have an actual fight on our hands for a minute. I wasn't sure, because I was like, I don't know what's going on here. But it was the first time that, we've had negative words from horseback riders in the Shawnee before. But this was probably the worst I've seen of just a guy that was just being belligerent, I guess is the correct word. So riding in the Shawnee is kind of a gray area in a lot of places. It doesn't say you can't. It doesn't go out of the way to say you can. It's not designated, but we are allowed to be there. I can, despite what the gentleman in question continued to tell us and how he was going to get us arrested, I am not podcasting from prison. No federal agents have been to my house, and
we don't know this. You're not on camera.
Yeah, I'm not on camera.
That's a good point, Jeff.
I have had.
So you did not go get Molson on him, is what you're saying.
I was so when I was in high school, Jeff Butler was a principal, and he was a teacher too, Mr. Butler. I remember one of his sayings was "kill him with kindness," and so I went into full "kill him with kindness" mode, and I was like, "Sir, you have a great day." And he's cussing at us, and I'm like, "Sir, everything's going to be fine. We'll be out of your hair in no time down the trail, and you can continue to have a wonderful day out here in the Shawnee, where we all love nature." And he's just like, and I'm like, "Have a great day." So when he saw us later, or the third time he saw us, the third time he come by us, I didn't think he was going to speak, and he acted like he's going to go by. Then he stopped, and he got back in my face, and he was like, "I'm calling the law. You're going to jail. What you're doing is illegal. You should feel like a piece of crap." And I was like, "Sir, it's been a pleasure. You have a great day."
But did your friend still have his silky? Because I want to show the guys here on camera what silky is. And this thing is mean.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Better taking care of that horseman.
Oh God, no! See, now we don't want to do that. Remember, we're
I know,
that's kindness.
That's right.
Because believe it or not, quite a few of the horseback riders I've encountered are packing more deadly
nice.
weapons. I remember out there I've ran into
Oh.
some guys with 6-shooters on their hip when they're riding a horse, because you need those in the Shawnee. I mean, there's a lot of dangerous turtles,
dogs.
mountain bikers. I'm not sure why you would carry a 6-shooter around when you go on a horseback ride, maybe, but unless you're just kind of stupid. But anyway, yeah, so generally I just want to let people know that, you can ride if you're not in a wilderness area and you're not in a natural area. You can ride. I found
State
out
park.
later that horseback riders can be vindictive. They don't like it when they get tickets, when they break the law. We don't know if that was why that guy was so mad, but it could have been. I got actually called once. I had a state conservation agent come to my house because I was flying a drone too close to Lust Creek Canyon, Indian Kitchen. And he let me know that some horseback riders saw my video and were very unhappy because they had been ticketed for riding in Indian Kitchen. And so they saw my video, and he come to tell me that, just, hey, you're not allowed to fly a drone in there. I'm not writing you a ticket or anything. But just got to let you know that you can't fly a drone inside Indian Kitchen because it's a state it's a state natural area. It's a state reserve or preserve or something. It's really it's a pretty cool place. But yeah, so anyway, Gabe, you ever been yelled at in the Shawnee on a mountain bike ride?
Just to get out of Sean Moore's way.
Yeah.
But, no. Most of the horse people I've ran into have been pretty nice. I've not had tons of encounters, to tell the truth.
Yeah.
You're more I'm not a true East Side rider, I've been told.
You're not.
So,
No, you're not.
yeah,
You're not. You're not a true East Sider.
So when I've ran into them, 10, 15 times I've ridden on some of those true East Side trails,
Yeah.
they've been perfectly friendly. And then at Glendale, you don't run into them really anymore because it's not really designated for them.
Yeah.
But they're usually fine.
Yeah,
with us being-
95% of the time, horseback riders are super fine. I've ran
Well,
into
they're-
many
They're
of
most
them.
of the time, like really impressed you're even there.
Yeah, they're like,
Anytime.
how are you doing that? They're like, I couldn't even walk this, and you're riding a bike on it. And I'm like, well, I'm just that much better than you. No, I'm like, just do it, just go out and do it.
Yeah. So we're clear. Stay out of the wilderness areas, natural areas, and all the state parks besides Dixon Springs.
Yeah. State parks it depends on who manages the state parks. I know that, Ferncliff is anti-bike, right?
Yeah, you can't
Very
ride
anti-bike.
Ferncliff, Garden of the Gods, Giant
Yeah.
City, all those. Stay out of them.
Yep.
You will get a ticket if you're in those, for sure.
The truth is that we have really good places to mountain bike now. Touch of Nature is amazing. Glendale's amazing. And while I got to say, I hadn't rode here at Frank's Track. We used to call this Gossage because, one side of Frank's Track, the other side's Gossage. This place was a real bummer to ride back 10 years ago. Even though the government come in and fixed it up, made the trails better, horses destroy trails pretty fast, and there were sections where they were impassable. That was fixed, and it's been dry for so long. The trail was like, I hate to say it, but I had an awesome time riding there, better than Touch of Nature. It was so much fun to ride there because I remember these trails being almost impassable, and then they were just like smooth and fast. The only difference is they're still not very well maintained. Lots of logs, lots of big stuff that you can't ride over, that you have to get off and go around. And it's a big, it'd be hard to do that out there in the Shawnee. So
Yeah.
okay,
Real quick, while
go
we're
ahead.
talking Shawnee, Black Friday ride.
Oh yeah, I didn't put that in the show notes. I'm glad you brought it up. Black Friday ride is a tradition, and it is going to be at Ruby this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah, I think at 9:30. I think there's a Facebook event, but just get a hold of me or Matt or Sean or someone, and we'll point you in the right direction.
Yeah, the Black Friday ride is a really really good one for like Jeff. I mean, I know you're like new to mountain biking. It'd be a good one to go to. I mean, in a way, it's tough terrain, but it's pretty laid back. Usually, and like if you got out there and you're like, man, this is just I'm not enjoying this. Your fitness is so good now, you could probably get off and jog and keep up with me. So there's really nothing to worry about. But it's it's always been a really fun, it's more about community and enjoying nature than it is about going out and drilling each other, I think. Usually has been. Good ride.
Yeah.
Hope to see you there. And I broke my hand the last 2 times I've rode Ruby, by the way. So
You're not supposed to say that.
Yeah, I fell and broke but it was my fault both times. Yeah, it wasn't. I broke my hand and then I fell and really hurt my thumb. My thumb has really just gotten better. It's been about a year of being sore. So love that place. Can't get enough Ruby. It's so good. The whole thing is like that hill that you crashed on.
No.
Okay, so Jeff, you want to tell us about what's been going on in Zwift? Jeff is our Zwift racer. He's our resident. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so the week before I twisted my knee, I actually did my first team time trial and had a blast. I'm thinking that's my event, actually.
Yeah.
I do what I do because I have ADD, so I over-research everything.
Yeah.
And I actually learned how to DS a
What's that mean?
TTT. Director Sportif, so basically like coach.
Wow.
So what I did was I actually found an online calculator, put everybody's FTP and weight in, and figured out what everybody's pull order should be. So the 6 people I ranked as how many watts they should pull for how many seconds. Yeah, I go overboard on this shit.
Gee whiz, Johan Brazil here.
Hey Rob, what's your FTP? I saw that on Strava that it was like a secret. You weren't letting
I asked
people
you,
know.
Rob. You didn't reply yet. We're waiting.
I just said it's going to get better. Jeff doesn't need to know that at this point in time. I'm not on his team time trial.
I love that with cyclists like that even know what FTP is. That like you meet someone and they're like, "Nice to meet you, Henry. What's your FTP?"
Yeah.
The funny thing is my FTP sounds impressive until you divide it by my weight.
Yeah.
And then it becomes normal.
Yeah. So I signed up for a team time trial once on Zwift, and then I realized I don't have a team, so I wasn't able to compete. I'm not on a team. Yeah, I've been on Zwift a lot longer than you, I think. I mean, like, actually, I know you and I have never, like, immersed myself into it the way you have. I've been, I'm like level 42 on Zwift. I've been on it for a long time. I use it in the winter for training, but I've never, like, got into the Zwift. The way you have, it's really impressed me. Like, I've been thinking about trying to, like, find a team and get more involved in Zwift. I mean, the way you can cheat on it, it makes me actually competitive. On Zwift, so I was like, I should take advantage of that. I know you don't cheat, but the way I cheat on it, I could be more successful on. Wait, I'm not supposed to actually talk about that, am I?
I know.
That's all right. I don't really cheat on Zwift. But anyway, just
Well, if you're
that's just
if
a
you're
humor.
interested-
My FTP is actually 363, just like it says in Zwift. 363 and about 5 watts per kilogram, so 5.5, Oh, anyway,
So
I'm sorry.
if I'm putting the pull order together, you're number 1 and you're pulling for about 5-minute blocks.
There we go.
I would last about 5 seconds. So, like, how did you get, like, what did you do? Just do a lot of reading? Just what?
Yeah, a lot of reading. What I did was I found out early on in joining Zwift, and like you, I was in beta, but I didn't have all the gear. So I kind of resurrected my Zwift account last year, and I'm only level 29. But that's more than enough to unlock the stuff you need to race. What I did was I found there was a guild. Well, not guild, it's a club, but it's kind of like
Nerd.
a guild, like in Warcraft or something, called the Herd. and they're a very welcoming group. They're a massive club that they're global. They probably have on the order of 5 to 10,000 members, so it's ginormous, and they sponsor a lot of events. So they're who I'm doing my racing through, and they'll have they have women only groups, and then they have groups for cat A, B, C, D. And so I joined them. I raced last season as a D, and over the summer I got upgraded to a C, so I had to change teams. And then coincidentally, one of the women that's on my team is also the person that coordinates the Thursday team time trials. And you mentioned you don't have you're not a part of a club or team. The neat thing about the TTTs is they're opt-in every week, and they kind of form teams ad hoc based on who signs up. So if you want to do a TTT, there's a Facebook group for Zwift racing. Just join it and you'll see all the notifications. There's a Facebook group for the herd. You can join them so you can see what's going on. And yeah, so if you want to do in the WTRL, which is the league racing that I do on Tuesdays, we actually had a couple people. One person dropped out because he dropped down to a D, and we had 2 people that got upgraded to Bs. So we actually have some space on our team. Plus, I'm kind of out because of my knee right now, but I'm basically took over role of the coach. Okay. And so I'm DSing the races.
Free coaching. Oh, man, this would be great. I could get my FTP up there. Yeah, that'd be awesome. So, okay, you started up Southern Illinois Zwifters group, and it's on Facebook. I joined. Haven't seen anything else since. So you got plans for that? What you got going on there?
Yeah, the knee thing just kind of demoralized me, and I thought I better not be setting up Zwift races while I'm recovering.
Jeff, YOLO, Jeff. Just grind that knee into a pulp. It's time.
Yeah. Well, what do you have to say about that, Rob?
Yeah, don't listen to Gat Molson in this regard. I don't think he's giving you good advice.
Oh, no. You don't want to end up with those surgeries and whatnot that you had to go through.
Well, if you guys have been following me, you see I'm still riding all the time on Zwift because it's actually it helps my knee from a rehab type perspective, but I'm not racing right now.
How many hours do you do a week, Jeff, on Zwift? Like how many hours do you ride?
Probably about 5 to 6 at least. Yeah.
Wow. I have a friend.
Oh, God.
Well, I was just going to say, I had a friend, Joe Pierce, here in Marion. He loved it so much. I think he's still doing it. He was doing 20 plus hours a week on Zwift. He loves it.
His trainer.
Huh?
You serviced his trainer.
Oh, he wore it out, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Matt's been doing some Zwifting because I think he's my only friend on like the companion app, and every time he gets on there, it's like, Golson's Zwifting right now, and I get a notification on my watch about it. So I know
that's pretty important to get that notification and know when I'm Zwifting.
It kind of drives me a little bit because I'm like, well, I'm not on my bike.
What drives me is just like, like I'm not keeping up with, I mean, just like in the volume department. Like I got a message the other day from Sean Hargis. Hey, do you want to come do an 80-mile gravel ride with us Saturday? And he was riding with the Kentucky boys. And these are, Isaac Mittendorf, I think that's his name. The Kentucky boys. What's the guy who... I
think Luke was in that group.
Luke Powell.
Yeah, Luke Powell was in the group. Yeah, it was... I was like, Sean... Do you think I can go ride 80 miles with you guys? Like, can I even ride 80 miles right now in gravel in some pretty intense hills in the deep south of Southern Illinois? Thank you, but no thank you. But I'm like, maybe I should have just went and suffered through that. I could have quit halfway through or something and I did an hour on Zwift that morning instead. So, anyway, I did have a lot of fun on Zwift the other night. There's a group in Mount Vernon, and I've rode with them a couple times. Shannon McNeil and Chris Myers started a Zwift group up here in Mount Vernon, and I had the most fun I've ever had on Zwift because it was like we were all chained together. You couldn't get dropped, and you couldn't break away. And so I would just do 1,000 watts. until I couldn't pedal anymore, and then I would just do like 40, and I was keeping up. It was great. It was like my dream, like sprint until you pass out, but then just barely pedal, and you can still go 20 miles an hour. So that was a lot of fun. And they have they're going to do a Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday morning Zwift group ride. If you're interested in that, I can probably get you invited. I think you have to be, you have to be in the know on this. So maybe I shouldn't even be telling people, but
I have a proposition. I think, Jeff, we should do a team. What you said, they're doing a race on Mondays. We'll do like a Marion team versus their Mount Vernon team on their Monday.
Oh, Monday. I think she said every other Monday she'd like to make it a race. I know she said next Monday, because I said, is this going to be like a normal Zwift race? Do I need 500 watts out of the gun? She's like, nope, we're not gonna race. We're all chained together. What do you call that? Banding. Yeah, It was weird. I don't think I've ever done a ride like that, because I could not. You can't break away, but you can't get dropped.
They do it more for
I
social
call that
rides.
tandem biking.
No doubt.
It was very social. It was a lot of
Try
fun.
it.
But I really look forward to. I don't know how much fun the actual race part of that would be without the.
Matt, what you might think about doing is, let's see if we merge efforts. Because one of the problems that one of the reasons I haven't done much with the Zwift group yet is right now it's just you, me, Gabe, and Hargis.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like we have enough critical mass. So we ought to maybe merge these efforts to get more people. And then, as Gabe said, maybe we just set up an ad hoc team where all of us from Marion pick one jersey to wear, so we can see we look different than the people from Mount Vernon.
That's a cool idea.
Well, Matt's going to have to choose who he's going to have his alliance with, because he's in Benton, so he's right in between.
I'm equally distant from Mount Vernon and Marion. Like I could be like Jeff. I could just SD it. I could just direct sportif. I could just like get dropped real early and then watch the race and just give out hints and tips. Guys, it's getting pretty close to time to cut this. Do you want to hit up one last kind of close-up topic here? I just thought it'd be really interesting. We'll make it really fast. It's winter. Oh, it's getting close to winter. It's winter time, and the longer we have winter, the more I dream of riding my bike outside in great roads. Because like I don't like the cold. Like I'm not gonna be out there when it's like 30 degrees. But what's your favorite road? What's the place, like, if you could get out tomorrow and go anywhere you want to go and ride it? Jeff, where are you going to go? You got a favorite road or trail?
Nearby, I'd say probably Tunnel Hill this time of year.
Tunnel Hill Trail?
Yep.
Okay. Rob?
There is an awesome little winding road that descends down into an old strip pit just south of Krill Springs. Actually, I'm sorry, it's just east of Krill Springs, and I would go there every day. Matter of fact, I do it every day. I love the area.
Just east of Krill Springs. I don't know that one, but I'll have to check it out. Will that be on one of your Saturday rides? Could we check that out?
Yeah, we could go out that way for sure.
Gabe, what you thinking?
I don't know. My favorite road is probably Spillway.
Spillway,
that we ride. Yeah.
Not one of my favorites.
Just like right before you go up Honker,
yeah,
just that section that's like a slight descent before you have to do that climb.
It is pretty classic.
With the overhanging trees and stuff like that. Yeah,
that is gorgeous. Hey, and they paved Tacoma, and it's always been a wonderful road out there, Tacoma, on the way to Devil's Kitchen, and now they freshly paved it. It is so wonderful right now. So anybody that wants a nice hill on a smooth pavement in a beautiful area with lots of trees and raining leaves, Tacoma Road is it.
What you got, Hank?
So the winter time is gravel time for me. I'm looking forward to hitting this road that goes the Tunnel Hill Trail parking lot in Tunnel Hill. If you head over to Dutchman Lake.
Yep, that's Possum Road or something, isn't it?
Wow. Yeah, and then something Bottoms, Bowman Bottoms.
Bowman Bottoms, that's pretty awesome too.
No, the last time I rode that, I got chased by a dog named Hank, and Hank's owner threatened to shoot me. So I haven't been back there since then. But that road is phenomenal. Great hills, great gravel, and getting over to Dutchman Lake and climbing back out of it, like that's a really fun thing. So this winter, I'm looking forward to hopefully not getting threatened with death by Hank's owner. But other than that section I'm looking forward to this winter.
Nice.
That sounds pretty kind of hairy with the whole getting threatened thing. Makes my horse encounter sound a little less intense.
Yeah.
So I'm missing Gap Hollow or Gap Hollow, depending on which road sign you look at, but over by pretty close to the hitching post, pretty close to Garden of the Gods. It's this weird little. It's not super hilly. It's not got the big hill on it, but it's just got It's a great road. It kind of has a little creek meandering by it, and then it eventually takes you up into Harrod and up and back down into Harrod. One of my old-time favorite roads, and it's one of the things I miss most about when I lived in Harrisburg. I was like 10 minutes away from some really awesome roads, and up here in Benton, it's not as inspiring. The terrain is a little the terrain is a little bit flat and boring. So sorry to say, I miss the South a little bit. So, well, guys, anything else? Do we want to hit on? Did we miss anything important? All right. Well, hey, this has been the 5th edition of Soil Cycling. I am Matt Golson here with my excellent co-hosts and Southern Illinois cyclers. I have had such a great time. I don't know about doing this in person or doing it on Zwift. I kind of enjoy the in-person more. We'll talk about that later. If you have any questions for me, I did make an account, soilcycling@gmail.com. I've never actually checked it. So send us an email if you'd like to sponsor our show. Hair care products for Jeff, beard care products for Hank. I don't know what I need. Some nutrition products so I don't bonk on the next ride. Goo, we were looking for sponsorships out there. Hey, it's been a great time. Thanks, guys. That's it. See ya.
All right.